we're opening the door on our worlds. Underneath Kong Studios, there's another subterranean space where, anything can happen. And it's going to be, I think, the first time that cartoons and live musicians have performed live together, actually in real time together. Because of lockdown, we were forced to adapt and maybe actually really put all our energy into trying to achieve something we've maybe kind of been kind of distracted from over the years. So in a way, this is the sort of perfect environment for gorillas to do their thing. So I wouldn't call it just a live stream. It's much more than that. You know what I mean? And there's and obviously with that, there's much more kind of sort of risk of things malfunctioning.
What is the biggest challenge so far in getting this organized?
Well, I mean, we all had to go into a bubble, and that's like 50 people all in all. So that's been quite a challenge. But we've certainly done a lot of rehearsing. Hopefully we're going to do something that's not just a sort of stopgap until normal business resumes. It's a new thing, maybe.
How spontaneous can it still be when you have to deal with all this technical stuff?
Well, the thing is, you just have to know it so well that you can then kind of sort of be spontaneous within the rigidity of having to kind of work. Working with cartoons is not simple.
They have their own personalities, we know.
Once they appear, you have to kind of go with them, you know what I mean? They're not going to pause for you.
Of course, this will be something quite different from the live concerts that you have played over the past years. For me, the power of a live concert is, of course, the communal experience, the interaction, of course, with the audience as well. This will be something different.
It will. I just try and make it as much of a, in a way, I think the secret is to get into everybody's front room, isn't it? That's the trick with something like this, so that there is that sense of community.
Mm-hmm. In a way, you will be closer to us than ever before.
I will.
Is this a show that you will eventually take on the road? Is that possible?
It's not possible to have cartoons walking around on stage at Roskilde or something like that. Or no. But I mean, it will inform what we do next year. Fingers crossed.
Yes. Next year, Rock Werchter is on your agenda as well.
I love that festival. It's great.
What is your best memory of Werchter, for example, or the festivals in Belgium?
I think I've always had reasonably good gigs. I've had some exceptionally good gigs. I think last year, the Good, the Bad and the Queen gig was one of our last, and particularly fantastic evening in one of the big tents.
Yeah, that also brings us to Tony Allen. You released the episode with him just a few days after his passing.
Yeah, well, I mean, that song was actually going to be for his 80th birthday, and we were going to do a big concert at the Royal Albert Hall in November, and we recorded that to sort of help promote that, but that sadly never happened. So it was just felt very appropriate just to put that out, at that point.
Were you able to properly say goodbye to him in this strange year?
Well, I went to his grave. I went to the cemetery where he's buried in Paris when I was working there in September, so I did get a chance to.
Okay. All right. Next week, the 3 events online with Strange Times. Will it be 3 different things, or is it one thing repeated?
We've got a very, very nice thing together now. It's in 2 parts. There's Song Machine, Strange Times, and then it moves to a different place, a different mood, and a completely different thing, basically. So it will inevitably be different each performance because it's completely live, and also, you know, things are so volatile in the technology we're using. Some things will work better on one performance than they will on another, and vice versa.
You mentioned the bubble of 50 people. Can you already reveal who are some of the collaborators on the record that maybe will join you?
I think everything's just so uncertain. I mean, someone could, you know, register positive with our next test, and then we're not allowed to do it anyway. You know what I mean? It's like, it's pointless promising stuff that's so uncertain. But I mean, the bubble's 50 now, but on the day of the performance, the bubble goes up to 150 people. So.
Oh wow! Okay. I wish you a fantastic week of rehearsals, quarantining, taking care of yourselves, so we can see as many of you as possible next week. Thank you very much. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
I have a few questions from some of our listeners. There's Fred from Sint-Niklaas. He says, 20 years ago, Gorillaz started out as the world's first virtual band. In a way, you were pioneers of virtual concerts that we are seeing this year. We've seen concerts, for example, embedded in games. Did you ever envision that there would be a time where this type of concept would be, maybe the only way to bring music to fans?
I didn't think this would be literally the only way that you could communicate. But in a way, we were ideally suited to exist within this period.
This cycle of songs is called Song Machine Season 1, Strange Times. Does that imply that there will be a Season 2?
And you know, Season 2, Song Machine, Brighter Times. Next year we may change it, and we may do more TV shows like this one, and present new songs each time we do one. You know, I don't know. I think that just the idea of streaming being the only way that you can get your music out it's a bit limiting, really, and it's a bit anonymous in a way, and you know, obviously we're never going to go back to just people buying vinyl. So we're just trying to look for different ways to keep the whole thing episodic and exciting, so that people have something to look forward to, and it's a significant thing when you produce.
Did this also free you a little bit from an overall concept that you had to work within?
Yeah, I don't work with concepts anymore. I just work with episodic concepts, and then at the end you see, does it make any sense? If it does, then great, put a record out.
Right. A question from Herman uit Mechelen. He feels that this collection of songs is maybe the most outward collection of Gorillaz songs. And he says, you know, of course, the power of music, especially in troubled times, in times of turmoil. This year we were dealing and still are dealing with a lot of stress. Was that something that you had in mind while working on these songs?
Well, I think inevitably you somehow reflect the times, you know. Inevitably it's imbued in all the music, a sense of kind of anxiety and isolation and uncertainty. But I also think Gorillaz music has always had that. It is by nature somewhat melancholy and dystopian.
Anne from Kruijbeke has been a big fan of Gorillaz with her whole family. They went to Amsterdam to see you with the family, and she wants to know, of course you collaborate with so many people, but if there is someone that you could resurrect from the dead, who would it be to work with?
So many. So, you know, James Brown, John Lennon, people like that, David Bowie, who knows? I mean, Tupac, Biggie, I mean, this Amy, you know, gosh, it would be wonderful.
Yeah. Are there any Belgian bands you would like to work with?
Obviously, my dream resurrection would be Jacques Brel.
Okay. That's an excellent answer.